Welcome to a new Let's Play with me, Matthew Caddis, aka Puggy. So we're going to finally address something that I wanted to do for a bit. Sonic's 35th anniversary? Yeah, it's that long since, but seemingly because SEGA are only doing a reboot of, did I even say it's Sonic 06, oh no. Just sending a remake of Sonic Frontiers 2, well, the Switch 2 especially. I'm gonna look at the, dare I say, the 8-bit games, but with a bit of a twist, because this is a fan game, and dare I say, it's actually a really good one. Yeah, this is a fan remake of Sonic 1 on the Sega Master System, and to be honest, it's pretty good. Seriously. You may not notice it is even a fan game, given that. Seriously, the downside is also seemingly a spring power-up from, there's a Sonic Chaos is in here, which is really weird. Yeah, seriously, but yeah, this is a fairly decent remake of the Master System / Game Gear version of Sonic 1. Though it does have a few added things as well. I'll get onto that later. Long Mechanical Jungle Zone is here in Green Hill. Also, Sonic can do the spin dash, of course. Likewise with the, dare I say, original 8-bit version. If you get over 50 rings, you can go to the special stage. Now, you'll note that there are now 7 Chaos Emeralds. In the original, both the Mega Drive and Master System / Game Gear version of Sonic 1, there wasn't. They were in the stages. There were actually 6 of them as well in the Master System version, so yeah. Well, seemingly Creative Araya has decided to move the Chaos Emeralds into the special stages, so much closer to, say, the Mega Drive game. So yeah, I'm not going to complain at that, especially since it makes them easier to obtain. I mean, that one in, the ones in Labyrinth Zone and Skybase Zone are a pain in the ass to get in the original game. Seriously. But anyway, that being said, likewise with the thing, because the Chaos Emeralds aren't located in the stages anymore, it does make the stages a bit more confusing. I'll show you why. Not so with Green Hill, but more Scrap Brain Zone. But we'll get to that. Seriously, this game does maintain the underground bit from that. From the strange log mechanic is weird, especially since, as I say, that doesn't get introduced until as I mentioned, Jungle Zone, and that's the only area it's used in the original game. The other thing of note is that there are no loop-de-loops, seriously. Which, well, at least in this stage. It will be in another stage, but I'm not going to say which, because that's kind of spoiler territory. So yeah. The other thing of note, there are no power sneakers. Seriously, those were actually a thing, although they're a lot more scarce in the, let's say, Game Gear version. But never mind that, I suppose. The music still is good. I mean, you can also play, I'm guessing it's 16-bit music, I'm not sure, but over this, but yeah. As I say, there were only, I think, about 4 special stages in the original game, unlike here where there's 7. Yeah. So it is very confusing when we get to Scrap Brain Zone. I'll say that now. But for now, let's go to the next special stage. The other thing of note is the springs. Seriously, they are now different colours. They were all one colour in the original game. I did actually play the Game Gear version, which is available on Sonic Origins and Sonic Mega Collection Plus. And also, I think, Sonic Mega Collection Plus. The other games are in Gems Collection. Anyway, Yeah, fairly easy things. As I say, originally the special stages were only for getting rings and continues, which are inside those boxes. And the third act is, of course, facing Dr. Robotnik himself. And seemingly, the bigger screen actually allows for more hits. Seriously. I mean, yes, there was screen crunch in the thing, but I'll say this, SEGA and Ancient, the developer who was actually set up by Yuzo Koshiro of all people, composer for, also the music composer for this game, yes, but also more well-known with the Streets of Rage series. Though, seemingly, Eggman is not using a giant wrecking ball this time. Again, far easier to hit, seriously. But there we go. It looks really gorgeous in HD. So that being said, I will go on to the next one, which is, of course, seemingly Bridge Zone. That's still in there, although I did say there was a lot more added levels to Sonic 1, but yeah, Bridge Zone is still here. It still has the second act beard. Dare I say it? An auto-scroller, unfortunately. Seemingly, but with the spin dash, to be honest. It is made to be easier, I will say that. Also, seemingly the poo noise, which I cannot really replicate myself. Also happens when you get jump on the thing, which, again, closer to the Mega Drive game, I suppose. There's the... I don't know what they call those badniks, to be honest. But they can be defeated with a spin dash. Again, if you're playing Origins and playing Sonic, the HD version of Sonic the Hedgehog on that and put it in our anniversary mode, you also get the spin dash there as well. So it does make defeating those enemies quite a bit easier. Other than that, I don't know. Also, this is a level where we would actually get the first Chaos Emerald. I am going to show off the Game Gear version to show where each of the emeralds are by comparison, because, to be honest, it does bear looking at the differences between Creative Araya's version and this one. That's another thing. All of the first 4 Sonic games have been remade, including Triple Trouble, although in that case, Triple Trouble's a bit special, shall we say. Seriously. Also seem to be a lot more run-ups in this game, so yeah, but down there is where the Chaos Emerald would have been. But because we get it in the special stages now, I don't think we'll need to. Anyway, on to the next special stage. Yes, the thing to figure out with the special stages is which springs bounce you higher, basically. Not always easy, especially when you get to the, I would say the ones with the flippers. We'll get to that. Well, the first 3 Chaos Emeralds are fairly easy to get! Seriously. And yes, I will say this now, Super Sonic, as well as Super Tails and Super Knuckles, is unlockable. And again, our old friend, the auto-scroller, is back. Oh yes. I could have done a spin dash, but I don't want to risk falling off and everything, so no thanks. Amazing how good this remake is, with a couple of exceptions, as I say, but we'll get to that. It's good that they are relying on the design of the original game and whatnot to recreate the stages, because, as I say, the Master System, or Game Gear version even, was still pretty good, and probably rate it more so than the Mega Drive version, which is saying something because I love the Mega Drive game, even with the lack of Spin Dash. Although Origins does put it in, as did as I've covered on my channel, the SEGA Ages version. I don't know, but it was the one that was available on the Switch. And seemingly the Creative Araya's version, he also rebuilt the bridge, which I do like. Seriously. Anyway, that being said, let's carry on. And indeed, to the next specialist, which does introduce the pinball flippers. Oh yes, those old things. Yeah, in fact, these are also in the Master System and Game Gear version, predating Sonic 2, seemingly, so I'm guessing Sega must have really liked it so much that they included it in that version, so yay, I guess. And I also love the special stage music, more so than the rather slow music in the Mega Drive version, seriously. Yeah, I've always been a fan of this special stage theme over the Mega Drive one. The problem with this is finding the Chaos Emerald, of course, because it isn't immediately obvious where it is. These stages were designed not to have Chaos Emeralds in them, of course. So yeah. But there you go. I actually fail on this one, but I will come back to this one, don't worry. That being said, no Chaos Emerald, I'm afraid. So let's go to Act 3 of Bridge Zone. And of course that will include Dr. Eggman again. Seemingly, unlike in the Game Gear version, which takes place on a bridge, this one takes place between some islands. Oh yes. What I'm trying to do here is avoid his firebomb attack, which, yeah, is very annoying. It's kind of similar to actually how the boss in Marble Zone works, which, believe it or not, is the next stage. Yes, we don't go directly to the Jungle Zone, we actually go to Marble Zone. So I'm going to try and avoid Eggman there. Maybe he'll come out the other side. No, he wants me to... He really wants me to attack him and go over that way. Yeah, I'm wise to your tricks, Eggman. Well, usually I am, not always. Also, you can't get one-ups in the third act, seemingly, which was the case in the Game Gear version. Also, staying on top of Eggman too long in this boss fight is probably not a good idea, just in case he kills you with his firebombing. Yeah, seriously. I'm just gonna wait in the middle here. Yeah, that works. And then he just sinks into the water. Well, no, he actually flies off in this one. He didn't in the Game Gear version, but that must be down to limitations. Anyway, I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye!